Howdy folks, I am your Princess Chaotic Ayana, and it is time to take a look at the one that nearly got away. You see, I technically picked up Hades as a swindie right around the time it came out, and I did that mostly on the basis of it being a game by Supermassive Games, who have not put a foot wrong in my opinion thus far. Then I got sick, and it was Halloween, and honestly, given how much of an indie darling this game has become, and how many of you folks have probably already heard about it, I almost didn't want to do this review. But I honestly just couldn't let this one go, because thus far, this is absolutely my game of the year. So future Ayana, sound the gushing klaxon. Strap in folks, we are going to take a look at Hades on the Switch. So Hades is a rogue... Is this like or like? You know, I give up, the hell with it. It's one of those two. You play as Zagreus, son of Hades, who wants to escape from the same-named underworld, more or less as a form of teenage rebellion, but also because Hades as a dad kinda sucks. And because I know, now that you've all seen it, you're not going to be listening to me until I let you know, yep, you can pet that Cerberus. Escaping will take multiple attempts, and you will have to do so multiple times, because, you know what, as opposed to calling these games roguelikes, we should just call them Sisyphean games. It's even more apt in this case, given that Sisyphus is an actual character you'll meet. Now, this certainly isn't the only game that follows this gameplay model. It's not even the first one I've reviewed on this fairly young channel. So what makes this one different? Well, for the longest time, Dead Cells has been my usual go-to for this sort of game, and the minute-to-minute gameplay actually has a very similar feel to it. It's very satisfying, the movement is very fast and fluid, the combat feels very heavy and chunky, and all of the weapons, bar one which we'll get to, are fun to use. But the difference is in the strength of the world itself and how it directly services the gameplay. See, like in most of these games, there's a hub that you go to before you start a run, and in games like Dead Cells, it's there and it does change a little bit, but ultimately not much, and only really on a successful run. You spend a grand total of about 30 seconds there. In Hades, it's like its own little RPG. Characters speak to you about what's going on in their lives, and there's some genuine progression here. You can even meet the ones that you fought as boss characters, and oh boy do they tend to be fairly salty if you beat them in the previous run. Hell, there is even a Gorgon that has a crush on you, and speaking for myself, this very poly princess is all about giving that relationship a shot, let me tell you. The writing is extremely solid and funny, and the voice acting is absolutely top range. Much has been made of Megara's actor, and whilst I agree she is great, I have such a soft spot for Skelly right here.
That's the stuff. Nice place you got here, boyo. Name's Skelly, how's it going? But enough with the small talk already. I'm here to do a job. So let me have it. Give me everything you got.
The solid characterization and world building doesn't stop inside the house either. Every so often you'll find one of these little orbs, and you will get a boon from one of the gods of Olympus. You'll get a little message from them, a little bit of conversation. Again, it's all really, really well written. All the gods look absolutely gorgeous, by the way. But ultimately what they're doing is giving you a power-up for this run. And what's awesome is that repeated loyalty to the same god has benefits. In short, it pays to be loyal to maybe one or two gods during a single escape attempt, although there is a larger, more permanent loyalty system also available. The more boons you take from one god when they're offered, the better ones they offer you the next time. And it's all based around which god you're speaking to. If you pick Zeus, you're going to get lightning-themed buffs. If you pick Athena, you're going to get defensive shield-based buffs and warrior buffs. You pick Aphrodite, you're getting charm spells. Also, that's two characters your very poly princess is very much down for dating from this game. Future Ayana, clear our schedules! If you get deep enough into the boon tree from two different gods, they might offer you an extremely powerful combined one called a duo next time you see them. That said, they might also make you pick a side. And irritating one of the gods you've been loyal to by picking against them also has consequences, at least temporary ones. Now initially which gods appear to you is actually totally at random, but you can kind of win over their loyalty by using an item you get from a specific boss, which, and I know this sounds like a tangent but I promise it's not, is an excellent time to talk about the weapons in the game. You want to know what weapon I was using when I first successfully escaped from Hades? The shield. Something I would never normally be caught dead using, as it just doesn't suit what I thought was my playstyle for this sort of game. Bosses all drop unique items when they die, which can help you with things like gaining the favour of the gods or be used to strengthen weapons. But they only drop the first time you kill a boss with a specific weapon. So the first run where I made it all the way out using the shield, the run started as a grind to get items, to get just that little bit closer to Aphrodite if you know what I mean, and to power up my spear, which despite how it sounds was a completely un-Aphrodite related activity. It's a great method of making sure you try everything. That said, the gun is about as much use as a chocolate fire guard, which is a bit of a shame. There are a couple of other minor negatives. First of all, the runs are a little bit long, especially if you're making it to the later stages constantly. It's okay because you do get permanent rewards, there's no problem there, but it kind of loses that feeling that you could maybe play through a run on a train to work or something like that. They're just a little bit too long for that. Second, these guys right here are an absolute brick wall that comes right out of nowhere when you first encounter them. I will say once you learn them, they're not too hard, but they're a boss that are fairly late on in the run and they feel like they're off the difficulty curve to me. Anyway, back to the positive. Now I'm not going to show a list here because it feels a little bit spoilery, but after your first successful run, you can add modifiers to the dungeon. Stuff like making the enemies take an extra hit or extra damage from traps, that kind of thing. But what it does is it resets the drops from bosses so that you can power up your weapons further or get in deeper with one of the gods. And this is a brilliant risk-reward system. That, in addition to the fact that the plot keeps going after your first successful run, really kept me playing the game. Ultimately, I cannot recommend Hades enough. One caveat though. The game really does set out to give you this air of Sisyphean hopelessness, and the idea that you're never going to escape, at least not really. It's 2020 and that's something you need to decide if you want in your life right now. If you can stomach it though, you will find everything else in the game is so rewarding it'll more than make up for it. I'm actually recording this video while they're still counting the results of the US elections, and it was written the week before, so hopelessness might be something we all need to wallow in at this stage, who knows. So there we have it folks, Hades is absolutely on track to be my game of the year this year. I know it's early on, we've still got some of the big boys to come out, although maybe Cyberpunk will get delayed till this time next year at this stage, who knows. This has really raised the bar though, it's going to be a tough act to follow. Before we get to those big boys I mentioned though folks, we have one more swindie I'm going to take a look at. I'm hoping for a lot from it because since I purchased it blind I've heard some really good stuff about it. Next week we are going to take a look at Spiritfarer. I hope you can join me then. Please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. I will see you then folks. Peace. I'm out.